Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're going to have setup, plan and view for the game Undaunted Reinforcements. You will need a copy of either Normandy or North Africa to play this game, and I will talk to you briefly about something that I knew I filmed only a few minutes ago involving Normandy, which I did not mention for this particular game as well. So this is a two-player deck building game, but as a solo mode by David Turtsey and David Digby. This is going to go in the solo playthrough playlist. It's going to be a AmassGames playlist. They have a setup, play and view playlist, the two-player playlist, and you can play this as a 4 as well. You can play it as a 3, but it's not recommended, at least by the majority of people who have decided when they play these games whether what kind of play count it works at. Still artwork going on by Ronald McDonald, and again, he's fully booked until 2027 at time of recording. Now, everything that fitted in the box for Normandy and North Africa fits in here too, fantastically. In fact, the owner of this game no longer even has the box for those other two games. That's how well things fit in, and it even has a great diagram to show you where everything goes. If you are interested in more Undaunted stuff, check out my Battle of Britain stuff coming to the channel soon, and also Stalingrad, as well as dice distancing, CFR dice roll, and whether or not you need a dice tray. That video to do with dice distancing is already live. So let's firstly talk about stuff that I did not mention in the last video, and that relates to the fact that you have various different ways in which you can play out the game. What I mean by that is you might have objectives, but how do you achieve the objectives? Do you rush in with a scout and snipe and maybe do something like that? Do you rush in with your rifleman once you've controlled the space ready to do it? Or do you want to consider about getting better cards out? Better cards which allows you to maybe scout faster, to maybe move your rifleman to then control and win the game that way, or maybe to take out your opponents. So what cards had I not talked to you about before? Well, we have the platoon sergeant. This person allows you to bring 3 cards up from your supply. So you can have a certain starting deck and a certain amount of your supply cards available. This allows you to take any card, any 3 cards, or you can command, which is drawing 2 more cards from the deck. Next up, we have got the squad leader A as an example. This allows you to draw 2 more A cards, or 2 more A cards, and that's it. No more B cards or C cards should you have any C cards. Or if in your hand of 3 cards, you happen to have another A card, you can get that character to do something again. That soldier can take 1 more action. So imagine this person came out in your hand and you happen to play a move, then you can inspire them to move them again, or you can have them attack or have them suppress or anything twice basically. So they make a move and then move again as an example. Again, the same thing with squad leader B, the same thing, only works for the B cards. Again, if you ran out of bolsters, you obviously would all have to inspire. So you put the cards that you bolster into your discard pile, just like this. You put your bolsters into your discard pile. You have a platoon guide, which will come into the game as well. Again, you draw 1 extra card wherever you like. And a guide lets you basically move somebody the distance where they can move up to. So a scout will move 2 spaces, a machine gun will move 1, etc. So that's how I wish to cover that off. So what's different? Well, we have specialists. We now have guys with grenades, so you can replace cards. So James Allen comes out of the game as an example. You chuck in Chris Blackford, and instead of doing everything on here, which is move, attack, or control, you can also have a grenade. If you're on the same space, then you're rolling 2 dice. Otherwise, you're rolling 1 die. So basically, it's an attack element. But the great thing about it is you basically, if you're in the same space, it's really powerful. So that's what I recommend you do with grenades. And you can chuck them into your base game as well. And now let's talk about other stuff. Tanks. There are tanks in this game too. Now, in Stalingrad, there are actual tiles which have like a tank marker printed onto them. So just like here, be next to them. And here, they are literally tokens. So some of them, like on a hill, you would not be able to go up. And in the scenario, it would tell you where to sit them out. And then you have these markers. So what you're going to have in your hand is you might have a card in your hand, such as the tank commander. It lets you bring out 2 more tank cards. And where do you bring them out to? Well, they're obviously going to go into your discard pile, which you're going to shuffle up. Or sometimes you can advance. You are able to move your tanks out. So sometimes they'll be circular if there's 2 types of Sherman, as there happen to be. In this case, you've got a diamond as well. Now this is filmed in 4K, so make sure you can see everything in here. But this happens to be where your tanks spawn, and again, where they can move. So in this case, they can't move here. They can move across here based on this position. I've just pushed this together just to make sure things are in shot. Otherwise, they can move again to where they've been scouted, subject to you've already scouted there. So now the tank can move over there because they know it's safe. That's how the tank platoon commander works. You've then got the standard tank style cards. In this case, you've got Charles McCain driving them, and he can move, he can attack, he does everything really. He can suppress and he can do anti-tank. Suppress works just like machine gunners. They roll 3 dice to basically take a token and flip it over if they can. Or you can use anti-tank, which is basically against another tank, you'd be rolling 1 die. So suppress will only work, obviously, if you're looking to do this, but otherwise you are looking to obviously chuck in an anti-tank because you can't naturally suppress, obviously, regular tanks. So you're looking just to fire 1 shot, one die at a tank. So that's how those work. Obviously, you've got lots of other cards which you can pick from. We have more Shermans, and of course, we have got that Stuart as well. What else is there? Well, that pretty much covers everything. There's a bunch of new cards. There's more scenarios that you go through. I've gone through the majority of the reinforcements one. In fact, I've gone through everything that happens to be in here for the base game for Normandy. So every scenario that is there for Normandy I've gone through, but then also you can go through the solo mode as well. Again, there's a 4-player setup as well. Of course, there's a scenario book, and again, you can do the same stuff in North Africa. So there's the solo mode. I've done the final push, loads of different stuff. If you're playing as a 4, if you're playing as a 2, obviously completing this one, and then you're moving on to, of course, North Africa. So then you can go through and play these ones. Yet to play North Africa, that'd be a separate video, but hopefully you found this of interest. Of course, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know the comments are best in YouTube, and if you do head through to, obviously, Instagram via the description in YouTube, you will, of course, find over 3,000 posts, over 3,900 followers at time of recording. Also head through to Facebook to join the discussion there. Listen to the podcast, and also head over to various other ways of listening, such as obviously you've got Patreon, where of course you can support the channel, and lastly, of course, coming back to YouTube. So I think I've covered everything up for now. So for now, back to the table.